China is sending the lower officials to the Washington, D.C. to have the unofficial discussion. But the projected as in terms of the rhetoric, the foreign ministry of China denied because what he denies is that there is no direct talk between Donald Trump and Xi Jinping. Of course, it is yes, and also one of the very important things is in China, nobody dare to reflect its leader is losing its face. That means what Xi Jinping do or what the leaders do is always right. He can only make the right decision. He cannot lose the face. So now I would say the Chinese officials is coming up a lot of, I would say, the proposals, maybe proposal A, B, C, D, E, and then they are forming a rhetoric. They're forming the words that, okay, the Xi Jinping is making this decision because it's blah 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 is saving the China economy. It is the best option, whatever, and it doesn't matter. And that is, I would say, it is what currently the Chinese officials is doing. Of course, in practically, those decisions may not be good, but at least it would save the face of the Xi Jinping, and it is the utmost important for all officials, especially the foreign affairs officials and the trade affairs officials, and it is politics, I would say.
Mr. Tanis, is the U.S. maintaining a strong negotiating position? And what does it has to do to not appear weak or desperate? And what would a saving compromise look like for Washington?
That's a really great question, Mona. And to pick up on what Benny was saying, essentially these negotiations are starting. They will end up in some sort of trade agreement. The presidents, President Xi and President Trump, will not show up until there is a deal. And then they'll show up for the cameras and the picture taking and the handshake. But the way this is likely to work out, it's face saving on both sides. If the past is any clue, what I expect is going to happen is that at some point, President Trump will announce that he is rescinding the 145% tariffs on China because trade talks are going so extraordinarily well that he's putting them aside for a period of time, and then the trade talks will continue. China will be happy because the tariffs have been lifted, whether temporarily or not, and we will start to a resolution of this unfortunate event.
Now, Mr. Kwok, how can China balance the economic necessity of ending the trade war with the political need to appear strong to domestic and international, definitely the international world at large?
Okay, it is. I would say it's relatively easy for China to do these things because China has no, as we all know, there's no media freedom. There's no freedom of speech in China. That means China can maneuver all kinds of news about the trade war. So within China, that is within China also the state media and even the Chinese version of TikTok, they are portraying, okay, China is going to win this war. China can withstand all kinds of pressures imposed by the United States, and Chinese people is diligent. Chinese people can fight against all kinds of difficulties, etc., etc. But of course, outside China, and you're seeing some media reporting, the Chinese officials is doing some pragmatic motions and pragmatic actions for dealing with the tariffs, the negotiations. So I would say China is making use of its the no media freedom, no freedom of speech. For these characteristics, China can always maneuver the how to portray the image of Xi Jinping and how to portray of the country, and so that the within territory, the Chinese people could not, of course, could not feel much about the trade war, but of course not the factories, because those suffer a lot, but they are not allowed to say any bad things because it is politics. It would touch the red lines.
Then how about the international world at large, and how would it appear for them? Because you spoke domestically, but not on the international arena, right? Please.
Okay. In the first phase, you are seeing there are some TikTok clips about. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Oh, okay. You were okay. Sorry. You were seeing some TikTok clips about some factories, some Chinese export those companies making clips directly to the American consumers. That okay, we could produce a very cheap and high quality, no matter clothes, shoes, whatever, and then you can just buy those things directly to us. That is to show China can always withstand any pressures, no matter any tariffs. I would say at this time, at that time, in the meantime, China is optimistic for the American consumers and even global consumers, because they relies on the very cheap and good quality Chinese goods for at least 1 or 2 or 3 decades already, and it is not easy for them to switch to other goods that are much more expensive and the quality is in question.